Your mind is a combat zone. Prepare to be attacked by arrows, that is, by bad thoughts. These thoughts may distract you from a spiritual mindset, lead you into despair, or tempt you to sin with your heart and sometimes with your body. If you focus on a bad thought, you place yourself in the arrow's target zone. When it captivates your attention, you forget your vigilance. It flies straight at you, but you lose the sense of danger. You allow the arrow to hit you because of your carelessness. Protect yourself from the oncoming arrow. Instead of becoming fascinated by it, if this happens, use your energy to protect yourself, and you will allow the thought to fly past you and not take hold of you. Carefully look out for these thoughts when they are far across the field so that you can deal with them before they get too close to your heart. When you have a thought, cut it off immediately. Avoidance is really the best defense for tempting thoughts. Don't stand in front of the arrow staring at it as it approaches you, but move out of the way. When you reject and dismiss a bad thought from the moment it enters the field of your mind, then it will fly past you. If the bad thought is already firmly and clearly in the forefront of your mind, deflect the arrow by focusing your mind on something else. Quickly turn your attention to God and to whatever is good and virtuous. This is simple. I didn't say it was easy, but the mind can only focus on one thing at a time. So if you have a bad thought, think about something good. And don't try to psychoanalyze yourself. Sometimes we think, why am I having these bad thoughts? Or I thought I was over this and here these thoughts have come back. But realize that you don't need a reason. Thinking about the bad thought just focuses your mind on the thought, which is harmful and not helpful or healing. Simply reject the bad thought. If you drive away a thought, it may return quickly, again and again and again. Don't surrender as though you were losing the fight. If you had lost, you would still not be fighting. A bad thought is like a fly that keeps returning to the food in your bowl after you swat it away. Keep swatting, and if you keep swatting the thought away, then it will finally, eventually, leave you alone. If it comes back, then you begin to fight again. It's easier to deal with an arrow flying toward you at a distance than it is to wait when it has come very close to you or even lodged in your body. Likewise, it's better to deal with a persistent bad thought in the rational mind than it is to solve a problem when the tempting thought is lodged in your heart. These are drugged arrows, and they are full of poison that will cause you suffering in your soul. They produce delusion and influence you to sin. The poison in the arrows may produce an initial feeling of pleasure, but it seeps in deep to confuse and to sicken you. Under the influence of the poison, you may choose to sin. You may believe that your choice to sin makes perfect, rational sense and is good for you. While you justify your sin, imagining yourself as a reasonable person, you have relinquished clarity of mind and goodness of heart to become like an irrational, instinctual animal. The drugged arrow of tempting thoughts can turn you into a mindless zombie if you allow it to. Remember, don't fight the bad thoughts by standing in front of them out of curiosity or to test your strength, but reject and ignore them to win. If you do allow the tempting thought to enter into you in a moment of weakness, then the ready cure is repentance. Wake up and remove it immediately and stop the deepening influence of temptation. As you have learned, be watchful. Prepare for tempting thoughts and guard your heart from their destructive, poisonous influence. Continually practice these tactics to sharpen your skill and keep yourself on the path of salvation.